Okay, so this is the model I've started putting together, just to use in our examples for the washes in this little mini series of videos. It's kind of a six-sided box really, with different surfaces which will lend themselves well to trying out the washes again. I'm going to get that up on there. There's a couple other things we'll add to it. I've got these styrene extrusions to use, and I just want to make a bit more structure on this. I think we'll be able to just judge it by eye. If I chop roughly at 45 degrees. Like that. And then something around about here. Just to get a little piece like that. I can glue in there quite well. I'll just do a second bit. Of the same size if I can. Okay, that should do that. Just try to get it roughly where I want it. Okay. And then it'd be good to have just a bit of a handrail up on the platform. So for that, it's got like a round shaped piece. Need a miniature just to try the size. Okay, we'll use this guy. Okay. Okay. So I'll need a few of these. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Use a little bit of sandpaper. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just got to roughly be recognisable as a rail. I suppose we could do that with the thinner piece, if we get one roughly the right length. Might just need to hold that for a second. Need something to hold that up with. Do. It's just to hold it up off the mat while it takes. Okay, there. Can we get that to glue? Okay, it's going to be tricky. Okay. Something to rest against. Okay. I just leave that to dry and then come back to it. Okay, it should be dry enough now. So the idea that was going to go in there, which at least fits. I'll still go there, yep. Okay, so that's that platform. Kind of fleshed out a bit there. Just cut out a little base for this to sit on. Do something like that, I think. Just use a bit of PVA. Now just a case of fixing that. This is quite a good little plastic kit tank. I think it was from a kit called, I think it might have been like the refinery, something like that. It's not a GW kit. It was just some random other thing. So I think I might put that on with some super glue. Okay, won't matter which way. Just want it reasonably vertical, which it looks to be. So this is another one of these little structures out in the ash wastes for Necromunda, 40k, something like that. It's maybe a water still or something for keeping a liquid in anyway. Okay, so that's taken quite well. So I just think it needs a few more bits and pieces glued onto the surfaces, maybe a pipe or something. And then I'll just do the same basing as I've done in previous videos. And then we can get on to probably painting it. Okay, I've got a few different bits from the bits box to attach our model, just to give it a bit more detail. A little bit of pipe work makes sense. So yeah, I think that's going to go there. Yeah, can go there. Made a little sub-assembly of a few bits. And something that looks like a control, or so I thought that could maybe just happens to fit quite well. Somewhere there on that face. Just trying to make these different faces not so flat. This is the idea. Up top was just kind of a empty bit, so a little cone piece that I thought could just sit atop that. For this corrugated section, just wondering if this could go on here somewhere. That's a bit of a helicopter kit. If I were to shorten those standoffs by a random amount, just try that. Just get rid of that bit. Might have to shorten it. And then a little bit off of this. Okay, if it's shorter again, that's too much. That could work there. Yeah, that's alright. Just add something to that side. Okay. It's okay there. Little fan. There. Off to one side. Like that. And then the wheel. Maybe low down. It's a little bit uneven. Oh, this is a resin piece, so it needs to be super glue. Okay, that might hold. Maybe use a little bit of bicarbonate soda. Just to catch that super glue, strengthen it up. And I'll maybe do the same around that pipe where it's connected. Just get some super glue around that connection point, and then the bicarbonate soda goes on, and then that'll just act as a way of welding that together to give it a sort of corroded look once painted. Which all adds to the texture. Okay, so just closed up that little joint there. A little bit of the bicarbonate soda. Okay, I think that'll work as is. I'll just finish the base, standard basin that I do, and then get it undercoated. Okay, that's the now painted model ready for the enamel washes. Just used similar techniques to some of my previous videos to get this rust effect on the paintwork. The green is just from a rattle can, And then the only other thing I've done is add a few decals, which I like to do, just adds a bit of interest to the panels. Always like adding them to the edge cut off, just to help sell the idea that this is a panel of a sheet of metal recovered from something else and cut to size, not its original purpose. And then up top for the tank, I've just sponged on some copper looking paint and then some brown paint, some grey paint, just to kind of make a kind of mottled overall look. The only last thing I was going to do with some painting, not enamel washes quite yet, was to use this Nihilak oxide just to paint onto the copper tank and pipe to finish those off. So I'm going to use a little bit of water in the brush. And I don't need to coat the whole thing, it's just enough. Just enough to give the effect of a bit of age on the copper. And it's better if it is quite watery, because it'll just run into any recesses and gather. And then we'll try some up on the tank itself. Try not to put on too much, because it will make a difference. It's just going to knock all that copper back a bit and age it. And you can just apply it in different strengths to vary it up. Just using water in places. And we'll just move around and hopefully dry into quite a nice finished result. I did a little bit of painting up on the top of it just to add a bit of interest, so I'll stay off of that in general. Okay, there we go. So that's that. I think you can see that already will work quite well. They just sell on that as being copper, or old weathered copper. So we're now ready to do the final stage of the weathering on this little test model with the enamel washes. I've selected just a few based on what I've seen in the test cards we did in the previous videos. So I'm going to use this brown and green camouflage panel liner, a little bit of engine grime, the Humbrol rust wash, and then we've got enamel thinners just to help thin down those washes, because we won't go on as heavy as we did with the test pieces. There we wanted to see how they really looked, what their colours were, how they affected the paintwork underneath. But here we're going to go a bit lighter, we're going to use more thinners just to spread it around more, and we'll see how it comes out. So I think first of all we'll just use a little bit of the engine grime in a couple of spots, maybe up on the grating here. So it's just a case of working some in. And then maybe just a case of dabbing some here and there. Just all helps add a bit of variation to the colours. And that's what we want. Okay. Next I'll use some of this Humbrol rust wash on this corrugated panel. Don't need to clean the brush too much between the different products here. If it kind of mixes together, it's fine. And this part of the model is cardboard, so the products will sink in a bit unless you varnish it or whatever, but I've not done that. I'm just going to go straight on. I don't mind if it soaks in a bit. Won't be a problem. Just got to change the colour of this panel, make it a bit more brown. Let's get this on there. Okay. And we can try it out just a couple more spots, I think. You know, with it thinned down with the enamel thinners, when you apply it, you can see it just flow around the edges. If you can see that happening, it just makes its way into the little edges and recesses. And that'll dry in really nice. Little rivets can get picked out. The flat panels, the horizontal ones, would be the most liable to get rusty, and they can take a bit more of the wash on them. I think when doing these things, if you can try not to go over everything, leave some areas with some areas without, not symmetrical, you know, keep it random. And the last one we'll do is this brown and green camouflage. And as before, we don't need to coat the whole model. Just going to use it in places and then spread it out a bit with some of the enamel thinners. This is just going to dry in and leave a nice dusty finish. Just break up any little splotches. A few downward strokes. So I think, having tried out quite a few of these different washes, these enamel washes, I think there's probably one or two, or a few of them at least, that, for my use anyway, have quite a similar look. So I think for me, I could just get away with having a few of these, and they would work quite well for me. I mean, there'll be use cases for each and every one of them. I think I can get most of what I need from the likes of this brown and green camouflage. It just suits a lot of the stuff I do, and same as the sand and desert camo one. They work really well for my stuff. And you can see up in there that, hopefully you can see, that has a panel liner. And if thinned, it will run. Okay, I think that'll do. So that's the model now complete. Just let those washes dry, and then I will finish the base, and then I'll just set up an example scene with some models for our final few shots. So hopefully the videos that we've just done have given you some ideas on how to use these products, or at least set up a few test pieces that you can try them out on, and then that way you can then apply that to your finished models for hopefully a better look. So thanks for watching.